this financial institution merger fell apart over $700,000 because the acquiring institution did not want to pay it.
Wow. Hey, Gonzo Bankers, this is Tony DeSantis back to talk about M&A. One of the things that's probably most important in the M&A space is the contracts and the vendor relationships and how to get the most out of those. So I've asked Neil Devasir to join us, our master negotiator, to talk about some of the ins and outs of contracts, specifically as it relates to M&A. So Neil, thanks for joining me.
Tony, good to be here.
M&A makes contracts a little bit more complicated. So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges when it comes to contract negotiations around M&A.
If you visualize two columns, left and right side, Bank A, Bank B, they have their own 20, 30, sometimes 80 plus contracts on each side. They all have their own set of liquidated damages. They have their own set of termination length. They have their own set of deconversion cost and conversion cost. Let's just pick a number of 10. 10 times 4, those 4 variables, 40 combinations. Minimum, because the financial institution has to decide what system is staying, what's leaving, and what's the math behind it. One of my first due diligences I did, this financial institution merger fell apart over $700,000 because the acquiring institution did not want to pay it, and they were surprised.
Wow. A normal contract negotiation goes
6 months.
On a merger, what's the timeline typically?
45 calendar days, not business days.
Calendar days.
We're in and out. We have to be that fast because the financial institutions are ready to decide. And especially on the major system, they have dates in mind on when the institutions are combining.
But there's some good news here, isn't there?
Best news about all of this is leverage. These negotiations have the highest leverage when we enter the negotiations, just because one vendor knows they're going to lose. So we have the short time window to go through a pretty intellectual process and pretty disciplined process so that we can produce north of 30% in accretive savings.
No, I mean, that's absolutely critical. And if you think about, especially for banks where they've got shareholders in public traded situations, they've got commitments they've made to the street, or others, they've got to hit those numbers. And those contracts are a significant part of that accretive savings that you're talking about. So if you're thinking about an M&A and you aren't spending the time on the contract side of things, you're missing probably half the opportunity when it comes to an M&A. Let us know in the comments what you're seeing, and we'll talk to you next time.